Arav Patel arrived in Melbourne with the same dreams carried by thousands of international students: success, stability, and a future he could probably send back home. On the outside, he was quiet, polite, and focused on his engineering degree. But inside, he lived a double life no one around him suspected. His family in India had arranged his engagement with Meera, a childhood friend who had waited patiently for him to complete his studies abroad. Arav had agreed, promising to return soon and begin their new life together. But once he landed in Australia, his plans began to drift in a dangerous direction. It started when he met Emily, an Australian classmate who admired his dedication and gentle manner. Their connection developed quickly. Late night study sessions turned into long conversations, and soon Arav was living a life he never imagined. Emily believed Arav was single, struggling, and alone in a foreign country. She supported him emotionally and financially, unaware of the fiancé thousands of miles away who still called him every night. As weeks turned into months, Arav found himself trapped between two worlds. Meera continued planning their wedding, proudly telling relatives that Arav would return soon. Meanwhile, Emily began talking about moving in together. Arav panicked, choosing neither honesty nor courage. Instead, he fed both sides promises he had no ability to keep. His lies grew so large that he couldn't control them anymore. But when Emily discovered a message on his phone from Meera calling him my future husband, everything changed. Her trust shattered instantly, and her confrontation pushed Arav into fear rather than guilt. At that moment, a tragic chain of events began, one that would soon turn a complicated love triangle into a shocking crime story the entire country would talk about. Emily's discovery did not stay quiet. She demanded answers, shocking Arav with her calm but determined tone. She asked him directly who Meera was and why she was calling him her fiancé. Arav tried explaining it away as a cultural misunderstanding, but Emily was far from convinced. When she threatened to contact Meera and reveal everything, Arav felt the walls closing around him. His scholarship, his family's expectations, and his carefully built image. He believed everything would collapse if the truth came out. Because of his fear, he didn't choose honesty. Instead, he stepped deeper into darkness. Meera, unaware of the turmoil in Australia, continued preparing wedding invitations in India. But she sensed something strange about Arav's behavior. His calls grew shorter, and his excuses became repetitive. Worried, she decided she would fly to Melbourne sooner than planned to surprise him. Arav learned of her plan too late. The moment he received her message, panic shot through him. If Meera and Emily crossed paths, his entire double life would explode in one moment. Emily, still heartbroken and furious, told Arav she was going to speak with Meera no matter what. She believed Meera deserved to know the truth. Arav begged her not to interfere, insisting it was his responsibility. But Emily refused. She was tired of lies and wanted justice for herself and the woman who had unknowingly been betrayed. Feeling completely cornered, Arav made the worst decision of his life. Rather than accepting the truth or facing consequences, he convinced himself he had to fix the situation before Meera arrived in Australia. But instead of repairing anything, his fear led him down a violent path. He arranged to meet Emily at her apartment, pretending he wanted to apologize. What happened next would turn him from a struggling student into the prime suspect of a disturbing murder investigation, one that shook both countries and revealed how far someone can go when trapped in their own lies. Emily never imagined that opening her door that evening would be the final moment of her life. Arav entered, acting nervous but polite, carrying the same backpack he took everywhere. Emily stayed firm, repeating that she would not be silenced and Meera deserved to know the truth. But the more she spoke, the more Arav felt desperation rising inside him. His mind twisted with fear of losing everything: his degree, his family's honor, his future, and the life he had built through deception. What happened inside the apartment became the focus of investigators later. Signs of a struggle, overturned furniture, and evidence showing Emily tried to defend herself. When neighbors heard the noise and called emergency services, it was already too late. Emily was found lifeless, and Arov had disappeared. For the next 48 hours, Melbourne police began a massive search. News stations reported the case nonstop. International student wanted in connection with murder. Meanwhile, Mira landed at the airport, confused by the chaos until officers approached her with devastating news. She had come to Australia expecting to meet her future husband. Instead, she stepped into a criminal investigation involving betrayal, violence, and international shock. Arov was finally caught at a bus station trying to flee the city. During interrogation, he broke down, confessing how fear had driven him into a corner he couldn't escape. Their story became a symbol of how hidden lies can spiral into tragedy. Two families were destroyed. One young woman lost her life, and Arov left his future in ruins. What began as a double engagement, hidden behind screens, ended as a true crime case studied by investigators and watched by millions. The lesson echoed across borders: secrecy, when fueled by fear and deception, can turn even ordinary lives into tragedies no one sees coming.